Okay, so today is September the 10th. Yeah, I was saying, what a move, what a move. So let's look at one day candle. It's like amazing, strong. Now, this is, there is a pattern here. Okay, there are many things that we could look at. Firstly, firstly, this bounce is no ordinary bounce. So when it bounced here, it was more like a defensive bounce. Means it's like, um, like it had done earlier, like here also. So this was new low. Excuse me. If you look at the whole entire pattern, this is consolidation, right? This is the lowest point. This is the highest point, and then this is a retest. If you remember, if you go back 3 4 weeks in past, I mentioned that there are different scenarios, and one of the scenario is a retest scenario, where retest could happen somewhere here, or some like near 20K or near 18K, or in a worst case it could be little lower than 17K, which happened sometime, and it happened in past. If you look at the first drop, let me go back quickly here. If you look at this first drop in month of May last year, this was the first low and then high point. And if you look at this drop, right, this drop was actually a retest. However, from a low point of view, this was a lower low from this point, this level point of view. However, the closing was always higher. That's another story. But this closing was even lower than that. So this is very tricky scenario, and sometimes it happens. So this is still a typical retest scenario, right? So what happened here is this was the low point, then it went up, okay, and then formed a symmetry. If you look at the, it's like a dome structure or a step pyramid structure, and then came all the way here, right? And then this was not enough, but encouraging move. This was like more like a dicey move, like what I mean, it made me think that what it might do from here. Of course, I mean keep on saying that we have to focus on the support because that's what matters. And then we got this one, boom. Right now we are here. So now, is it good enough? Of course, not good enough, but it is good enough to say we are not talking about new low. Okay, we at least we don't have that the risk that we have 2 days ago. We can say that. As we know, we had to see that breaking 27K. So I'll move this to 27K now. Yesterday I was calculating. There's some structural change, so I had to move this yellow to 27K. So you can consider this 27K is the required level for it to say okay, bye bye the low. Of course, that there is one more at 32K, but in my opinion, if this is broken above, not just broken above but closes above this level, um, then we should be good. But yeah, it's a time for celebration in my opinion. But it's like not like going crazy, not like uh, without ignoring the fact that it has to cover some more ground. But definitely it's a time for celebration. So this kind of a move is no ordinary move. This pump, let me tell you, is not a pump like these two pumps where it was driven by Fed's policy. This pump is different. Now, unfortunately, there are many things that I have considered behind the scene, which I may not be able to share, but it was a tricky decision for me to say, now it is going to double bottom and potential bounce from here on, right? And it happened. So it worked out well again. And that matters a lot. Okay. So what else? This is 1 day chart. So this inner structure we talked about. Let's go a little higher. We use Bitstamp. Now, if you look at this let's look at weekly. We are moving away from this red line. Remember, I mentioned that uh, crossing is not important, closing is important. This is always the case. So I mentioned this in last call also. My weekly call is always would have something special. If you refer last two calls, you would learn many things apart from the updates. So if you miss some time, you can always refer the recording later on, and you will find something useful. Like so, it crossed, but not really closed, and that's not breaking. Okay, that's not breakdown. It has to close. So we were tracking this, in fact, on a monthly time frame. Forget about weekly, because this is a mega trend line, right? So this is like starting from year 2013 all the way here. So this is no ordinary line. It has to be tracked monthly. So what I would like to see, um, that BTC settles somewhere here. I said 27K here from a candle point of view, 26K, because that was point of rejection. But my calculation says 27K is good enough. So if we close a week, probably it's not possible, maybe month. Yeah, we have plenty of days actually too. So maybe even next week, if we can close, or even by month end, we should be good enough. I'm not in hurry actually to see a big pump. What I would like to see is a steady progress without coming back to this level. We don't want it to be back on 18K, right? So just hypothetically, because when we talk about scenario, we have to talk about all scenarios. We don't want to see this coming down to coming below 20K, let's say, close below, right? We don't want, because if that happens, then the probability of breakdown will be very high. Then I don't think this low will be able to hold. I don't think so. This is based on experience, statistical data that I have seen. So that's how, I mean, that's my interpretation. Anyways, this weekly candle is strong, so we don't have that risk at this moment. However, that was just a remote possibility, not a probability, just a possibility. Okay, so we can zoom out and see. Um, it happened here as well. If you look at this, one, this move, we have this path. Remember, we have this path, right? And then this, and now this is happening. We make it more prominent. Okay, so if I go, actually, let me go in detail, more detail. We had this bounce, retest of this low, and then another try. But you see what happened is it didn't go because the height was not good enough. So of course, we knew the support. We knew that this is a double bottom scenario here, and there was good bounce. So everybody was so bullish. I remember everybody was saying 100K here, right? And I was kind of reserved because the height was not good enough. I was saying, okay, good bounce, no doubt. We cannot ignore the fact what is happening. But then I said, this is not good enough, because it's a measurement, and it's a structure, it's a pattern, multiple things. And then it went down, right? So it went up to this level and then made another low, another bounce, you see, another retest, and then now a bounce. So this could be like continuation of this, and then like this, a green arrow, or it could be something like this, where, and then another low, which could be deeper, right? Now this height could be this much, this height could be this much, As I said, I need 27K. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep this line near 27K purposefully. Yeah, because if it is able to break above 27K, then it should be able to sail through. Make sense? So just to align with what we saw on 1 day time frame. And this arrow should be from this one. And I will not extend all the way here. I would like to extend this up to 32K because there's one more, right? When there's one more hurdle to be crossed, remember. So I don't want to make this chart complicated, but point is there can be one more scenario like this and then like this, or continue going up like this. Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is there's one more line we can draw near 32K. I had to measure exact number, which I'll do later. I'm just keeping 32K. Okay, like this. So, so there are three important points. This one, this junction, right? This junction, this junction, and 32K. I'm talking about big picture. Okay, I'm not talking about daily moves. I'm talking about bigger weekly pattern here, and weekly pattern um, doesn't um, doesn't talk about everyday moves. Remember, so we're talking about a big picture here, right? So this is the downtrend or counter trend to the main trend, which is still going on. So let's not forget that. Okay, and we are celebrating what? We are celebrating one of three achievements. Remember, so you can say these are the three tasks, so to speak, and we achieved one of them, one of the three tasks. So that's what we are celebrating. Then second celebration comes when it crosses or closes about 27K. And finally, lastly, the one 32K, right? And above. Then we can say it prepares for new all-time high. So this is, we can say this is hope. This is hope. And then this is really the ultimate breakout level. Make sense? I'm trying to make it simple as possible. Yeah, so that's a summary for Bitcoin, right? So the downtrend isn't over. However, this is our first achievement. I mean, Bitcoin's first achievement, and there's no need, absolutely no need to think of downside scenario. And as I mentioned, remember, I mentioned this decision over here, but this is the limit. This scenario could happen from here, any place, from here to here, any place, right? So we would not know. So starting from here, I mean, a little higher or up from here, it is possible. I'm just depicting like this. So one should not think that this is going to happen somewhere here. What I'm saying is this is one milestone, right? But at this moment, every day we'll see. I mean, we don't have to think every hour. Every day we'll see where it closes, right? And we don't have to take any extra load here. So yesterday closing was excellent. We'll see how week closes, right? If we close, if week is closed nearby same level and doesn't go back around 20K, excuse me, then we don't have to worry. Then it will make progress. And then come next week, we'll see. We don't have to think a lot. What we are doing is, this is not thinking. Remember, I'm thinking, of course, because I'm TA. Trader do not have to think, which seems little, I have to explain this. Thinking means, what I mean is planning is required, but planning is not thinking. Okay, while planning you think, that's another thing. But when I say thinking means trader keep on thinking, that's what I mean. You know, always worried, what will happen, what will happen, what will happen kind. I'm talking about that question. Okay, so when I say thinking, means don't keep on thinking every other hours, other hour, not every day. Okay, you can have a checkpoint end of day and say where it stands, right? So more, so right now I have to think different scenario, and I'm presenting to you. Okay, of course you can think. What I mean is you don't have to blindly follow, but if you are following my TA, you just have to see how it is making progress. Okay, and anyway I'll be updating if there's any major move. So we don't have to worry unnecessarily. Okay, and another message that I would like to give is now think long term, long term. And again, this is not financial advice, but I mentioned this many times in past. So many members join and leave, uh, even though they had information about what market is going to do, what Bitcoin is going to do. That is simple. The reason is, and I'm not going to blame myself, and I'm not going to blame them as well. Remember what, but it's a situation. What I noticed that my conclusion, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that people go over aggressive. Okay, and they try to do something which they cannot handle, and they end up losing a lot. So my only, um, from all this, my message is, when time like this, when it is starting to go up and we are expecting it to recover from here, right? Because we are thinking that it's a good start. In that case, one has to plan, go slow, and think about long term. Okay, it's not that you cannot take pumping coin, you cannot take short term opportunity, you can, but without forgetting the long term focus. So the smart trader is not someone who will every day trade and do in and out. One, a trader could do two things. One is could, keep 60-70% of the portfolio for long term and play with 20-30%, let's say, excuse me, with some short term opportunity. So that can be a plan. Percentage, you decide what percentage you want to do. But this is an opportunity where you can have one portfolio for longer term, another portfolio, because you, one portfolio you cannot have two. Usually it doesn't work well. I mean, if someone can manage both the strategy in one portfolio, wonderful, but usually it doesn't happen. And not only that, having this two strategy is also very difficult. You have to be like two person, two, you have to wear two different hats. It's hard, it's difficult. Like sometimes it's very hard for me to be a trader and a TA together sometimes. um, and similarly, one same trader with two different strategies is also difficult, but it's doable if you practice. And if it is doable, especially if you have two different accounts. And we have now nice feature. Which one? Arrow. Remember, perpetual trade, where it's for longer term. Remember, you have seen the signals, so it's for longer term. And if you look at the report, don't forget the report in the. So probably you are focusing more on the which feature, our trident feature, but the arrow feature is silently making progress. Okay, it's silently making progress. So I'm not trying to suggest you what you should do, but I'm just asking you to pay attention to what we have done. So let me talk about that before moving to ours. We have broken down the original channel into two sections. The opportunity, I kept the name the same, but now another navigator. Now opportunity, again, would have some alts, but more like weekly update, like today's update. You will have that update for those coins, right? Few coins that we have selected, and of course BTC update. That's based on my manual TA and some patterns and all those these scenarios that you see on this call, right? So that's opportunity channel. So we have packaged that way, and we are now selling at a lower price if someone wants this much. Now, if then the other part, so we have broken, but we haven't reduced. That's what I wanted to say for those who joined earlier. Now we have automated as part of Navigator. So when I say automated, there are two sections. One is the arrow where up and down signal you get, right? And you must have seen, if you look at the log, it is doing decent work. Okay. And I think with the time, if you give for a few more weeks, you'll see even better. But you will be able to measure its performance after 2-3 months, and you will find that it is likely to be profitable as far as my confidence goes. Okay, so that's arrow. So one could utilize that. And of course, I keep an eye on what that indicator is doing. Okay, so that's for sure. It's not running by its own. And then the Trident, where I'm posting charts. Again, that chart is not manually calculated. The levels are not manually calculated. The whole entire navigator feature is driven out of indicators. Yes, I had to post it because what I do is if there are many coins, I had to select some, but the key levels are determined by the indicator. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure which coin makes sense, what time frame makes sense, and then posting, right? That's what I'm doing. So all the updates that you see and posts you see on Trident is out of indicator, no manual TA. So that's another section we created. So we will be, it's not that I'm going to ignore opportunity channel, but what you will see that this navigator channel, the new channel, will probably provide more opportunities. Okay. And as so we are going to run this in parallel. And as I mentioned, we are not going to shut down opportunity. We're transforming, and this is transformation phase. And whatever we are running on opportunity will continue running, of course. Especially Bitcoin, I think we should do the weekly call like this. And if Navigator does well, then probably we don't need that active list, in my opinion. And I mean, we'll see. As I said, I'll close only if everybody says, yeah, it makes sense that Navigator is doing well and all. But I am not planning to close anything. We are transforming. So we have done the restructuring. At the same time, we were able to reduce price for those who were not able to afford my entire package. So now they have split different packages, and they could go for either BTC or only opportunity, or both as a value package. So that's what we have done. So I just wanted to share my thought process, and of course the highlighting that some of the features how you may utilize. Okay, feel free to ask me more. And then other stream, so there are two more streams we have, right there. So one is um M2 Club. Now M2 Club, earlier I had higher condition or criteria. Now I have relaxed that one, so you feel free to ask me if you want to. So you get the M2 indicator. The M2 indicator, those who are using, will tell you how accurate it is. It requires practice, which I give like a month. Even they can take 2 months if they want. So there is no rush, but I can tell that M2 indicator is doing amazing job. And it's just that one has to get used to with it. And sometimes market doesn't offer opportunity, that also a reality. But in recent time we have plenty, so that's not a problem. So M2 Club is where subscriber would get an indicator. So they don't have to rely on my post. They can find anything they want, anything in my absence, on their choice, anything that they are expecting to trade, they can do, because then they have the power basically, and it's pretty reliable, as I mentioned. So that's M2 Club, and I'm very active there as well. I post samples and subscriber post their samples. I'm expecting more interaction. It's not happening, but I think I'm expecting more, and I think it's market is one of the reasons. So I think it's now I think heating up as well. It happens with chatter as well. Chatter goes silent, as you know, when the market goes down, and then all of a sudden it starts buzzing. So that's what is happening with M2 Club as well. So I'm sure M2 Club will, and also some new users are are proactively trading and posting, which I like. That is one of the reasons I actually relax. What I'm looking for is proactive. When I say proactive means I would say active traders. Okay, means somebody should be trading, not doing nothing for a week or two. So I'm looking for those kind of traders, and this feature is only for the our family, our group, right? We are not publishing outside. This is not available for external users, and one is accepted only after some time on opportunity channel, cannot join just M2 Club. So that's another thing. So it's not for everyone. I would say I would not take anyone unless he or she spends at least 6 months on our opportunity or navigator channel. So anyone who is there for longer can always reach out to me. I go through the Zoom call and then we finalize. So there are a couple of steps before. So it's not that you say and we agree, but I think we mutually agree and then go ahead. So that's the model. There's one more stream that probably you're not aware, where we're doing partnership. So we have few members working with them, and they have their own fund, or they have their bigger portfolio. Um, then there are two more opportunities coming up. So you may say this is some kind of announcement. One is we are going to have a partnership with one of the Switzerland fund, one of the firms in Switzerland, and they are going to focus on the German market. I got the contract. I'm reviewing the contract now. If everything looks good, which looks, I think, so I'm going to sign off, and I think within a month or so, we should have a contract signed by both the parties, and we should have a deal in place. So that's something good for our community, because then it means we are now expanding, and of course it's a partnership. As I said, the new subscriber won't come to Discord. It's like I'll be doing TA for them, and there can be hundreds and potentially thousands of users. They're targeting three countries: Austria, Switzerland, and Germany, German speaking nations basically. And also they have bigger plan. So if that works out well, then we'll expanding globally. Then there's another good news that I would like to give you. Another partnership we are doing with someone in Japan. If you don't know, 30% of my Twitter followers are from Japan, roughly, maybe 40%. And if I'm not wrong, it could be 50%. I don't have the exact number, but huge number of followership on Twitter is from Japan. So that deal, I mean, the discussion began, so it's not kind of done deal. But it looks promising. So that's another thing. So that's another good news coming up, because that's another market, very different market. You need someone who is local to that country, Japan, because the language, so they would prefer their language and all that. So totally different. My English won't work there. So this partnership will be very, very meaningful and helpful for our growth. So these are the two updates that I wanted to give. So as part of this new stream, if anyone wants to start business in your country, if you think, reach out to me. We can discuss the plan, okay? Because it's doable. Okay, so with that, so I wanted to update a few things. Let's jump into alt. Now we have a small list. And I shared the, so now we have the active list has this next level and the support and resistance. So you can refer them. Updated yesterday, announced that as well. It's on the Discord channel. Now we have 17 odd, I think, coins. And I think we are going to keep very small list this time because there are too many. You don't need a lot, practically speaking. So we're going to keep a small list here. And yeah, and we have navigator channel also. And also we have reduced the price. So anyone who joins this package would get this limited edition. And they, if they want full or wider, when I say full means more, then they can always join navigator and get more. So that's the thought process. Okay. So Atom is amazing. I mean, if you look at there are a few coins, their recovery bounce was stunning. Like if you look at this, was June bounce and then consolidation. No double bottom. It's like a sort of V-shaped recovery. Amazing. That shows the strength of this coin. Amazing coin. AVAX. So this is more like a double bottom, like other coin, right? So this is good. BNB. Awesome candle. Nice, right? So this is also, it didn't go down all the way. So it shows the strength, and also look at the bounce. Awesome. CRO. You know what? I would delete all these old ones because I'll give you fresh levels. But for now, I'm just keeping it. Yeah. Then the next one is Doge. Doge is not as strong as you would like to see, but you never know. It can it can go crazy anytime. But at this moment, it's silent, right? It's not pumping hard. But it's okay. I mentioned, if you remember, if you refer my 2-week old video 2 weeks ago, I mentioned until that time, I mentioned that we are ignoring Luna. Remember? I said, I'm just keeping Luna, but I'm ignoring. If refer my, I would not, I didn't spend even 5 seconds on Luna in those calls for many weeks. But 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that now we have to start paying attention on Luna. And then what happened yesterday is is phenomenal. I mean, it's amazing, how mind blowing. In fact, it is much more than what I probably thought. It was crazy. Anyway, so the Doge, you never know. It is silent, but it can start moving, and when it moves big. I mean, it goes for a big one usually. Okay, DOT, nice consolidation. This is a good project, so I'm keeping it. I think these are good coins. It's not that these are the only good coins. I had to limit the lists. So from different point of view, I kept. So EGLD is a good performer, as you know. So I think structure wise, it's more or less the same. It looks very similar to Bitcoin if you look at closely. If you look at this one and this one, there's not much of a difference. Down, down, and then EGLD down, as if it's the same chart. Absolutely no difference. In fact, it's amazing. Even this structure is similar. Three. ETH is strong. You see, it didn't go down much. Very strong. FIL. Now FIL, I kept it. A project is good, of course, but also because the downtrend has been going on for very long. So there is a good potential for it on the upside, in my opinion. Flux has been a strong, awesome coin. Price action point of view. Of course. Look at that. It has covered 50%. It has recovered 50%. Can you believe that? Like 50% of the drop. In fact, It is breaking the most critical level, in my opinion, in this moment. This is the most critical level where from where it went down a bit, very strong. FTM is silent, but you know, this coin in last bull run was the hero. If you look at the percentage gain, it was uh, I mean, it was crazy. HNT I highlighted, remember, I think on Navigator, I posted as well. This so no, I think last week I mentioned that this is the weakest coin among the list. I said because what? Because it made new low. But I also said that it doesn't mean that it remains weakest, because this was the strongest here because it made new low when, sorry, new high when no other coin made high. Remember, so this was the strongest one. And when it made new low, I mentioned that this could start moving up, and this candle is amazing. Okay, so don't underestimate this coin. This was a laggard and this was not moving up well until last week, but this could be the one who could be, you know, surprise many in terms of price action. KCS is nice, steady. This kind of a coin is a kind of a resilient coin. If you look at when you look at this coin, you feel, where is the bear market? You ask that question, where is the bear market? Okay, you know, this is the upside move, fine. This is drop, but then it made new high. Bitcoin did make new high like this, right? Very few coin. This is one of them. But not only that, not about high. This coin didn't break even this level. So compare this with 29K of Bitcoin. Remember, because Bitcoin was 29K month of May. So you have to see from that point of view, resilience, strength point of view, that KCS went down, fine. But look at where it consolidated, way higher than month of last year's low. And look at any other coin compared to their May 2021 and find how many coins has done it. You see my point? Then you will know, you will understand how you have to look at this coin. So as I mentioned, each different coins that I selected, I have different point of view. Of course, I haven't shared my point of view in detail, but it's not required. But you can assume that this list has some thoughts. It's not random list. It's not based on percentage. There are many aspects or angles involved when I selected this list. Chainlink is still within the dome, but one big move on them and it should be out. So nothing to worry. And what to say about LUNA, right? So 11.7 around 12 is the level. I mean, this already broke out. Okay, Genie is already out of the bottle. Now, this is where mature traders and amateur traders are tested. Okay, they know that when they touch Luna, how to handle it. Okay, in terms of size, in terms of its price action. Not everybody is fit for Formula One race. Not for everyone is fit for bungee jumping. So trader has to know what is their limitation, what is their strength, and pick up coin. So I always say that you have to find coin which suits your nature. Okay, not just percentage pump. If it is suitable to your nature, then only you take it, because then you will be comfortable, because not trading has to be, the experience has to be pleasant. I mean, if it is full of tension, then it's futile. So trading has to be like a fun activity. So if somebody is scared, better not to go with that thing, right? Go with something which is, so we have different flavors. You know that. Matic did amazing job. A bit silent, but I'm not worried because it is capable of making big move. So this is still a strong coin, one of the strongest ones. Sand silent for now, not bad. And SOL, not bad. It's nice second week, green candle. Um, and this is a support level. So a support level is given to everyone. And I covered Bitcoin in detail. So I guess you have everything now. I'll close this call. I believe that I covered everything that is needed, but feel free to ask more questions. Thanks everyone.